Hello YouTube, it's Birdo Prey 5. I'm back. It is Bedlife for Sunday, March 10th. It is 2019. And you can see it is a lovely day on Mars. Yes. Excuse me. Don't ask why I picked the Mars background today. I don't know. It just seemed to click. And I do know that Anti-Tracker may go live at any moment. More than likely, we probably have an hour worth at least. But it is theoretically possible he might indeed go on. And if he does at some point, I will, of course, stop the stream, soon enough, because I would like to watch his review of the Orville. And Peter Quinn is #1, and it says evening Bird of Prey 5. Hiya. Hello, Peter. I'm good. How are you doing? I'm knock wood, feeling better these last couple of days. Got the taxes 99% complete, so that is a load off the shoulders, so to say. Those barcode boys. Hi, Joe. Me, Mama, and my mom are on here watching you with Joella. All say hi. Hello. Hello to Dib's mom, my aunt, my grandmother, my cousin, and of course Joella, and I assume perhaps Mrs. Barcode Boys. If you're there too, welcome. Thank you guys all for watching. Yeah, and mom. Mom says hello too. Yes, when I look this way, that's because Mom is flagging me down. I have to see what's going on. Yes, of course, Mom sends her love. Peter Quinn says pretty okay. My day's been okay. You know what, Peter? These days, okay is good enough. I'm happy with okay. Richie Poole, hello Richie, welcome to the stream. He's lost the audio. Are you guys able to hear me? Grandma keeps saying hi. Hi, Mama. I can't hear you, but hopefully you can hear me. And yes, the audio is working, so that's good. I don't know, Richie, if you lost the audio. I guess I better type it in. Refresh if you lost audio, because it's working for most people. So yes. So yeah, my grandmother, great woman. Maybe one day she'll be on the stream next time they come over. You met my aunt, my uncle, a family friend, and some cousins, and my sister, of course, a few months ago. And you'll see my cousin one day. We're gonna do a stream together. Hopefully sooner than later. I mean, you've heard him, but I'll try to get him on camera on Skype or something. We want to do a topic on, well, we can talk about a lot of things. We could talk about gaming, we could talk about general stuff, but he's really into, and that is sassy, he's really into cryptocurrency, and maybe he can convince me not to sell whatever little cryptocurrency I have left since the big crash a year plus ago. It's not that I had that much money to throw into it, but I threw in like $500, and I think the portfolio value is down to 100 and something. So, I mean, I assume I just let it stay, since, what's the worst that's going to happen at this point? Even if I lost the rest, it's not going to break me. But we do need to do a cryptocurrency stream. Just give me 1 second to hold on to cough. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Figured I'd save you the audio, and I'm getting a text. My cousin sent me a video of my grandmother holding Joella, the baby. Oh, and they're watching me. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this to play. Of course. The camera. Okay. I've got to shut off the fancy background for a short second. We're going to hospital bed here. Okay. Now, does it focus? Where's play? You can see me on the screen, and it's too bright. Yeah, you can't really see it. Okay, well, you just trust me that it's there. Not quickly enough, I can't. But yes, again, hi Mama, and everybody. Very nice to see you guys, and thank you again for watching. Let's see what's going on in the comments. We hear ya. Peter Quinn says, I thought disco was really good. What'd you say? Did you say something, Mom? No? Okay. Star Trek Discovery, of course, by Disco. I thought it was good too. I mean, it wasn't a perfect episode by any means, but man, far and above almost anything we've seen in Discovery. I mean, a couple episodes come marginally close, but we definitely got the best we've seen yet, in my opinion, this week, or last week at this point. Peter says it makes a change, and he said, the green screen is interfering, still not good, too bright for the camera. Yeah, I was watching it, I could tell, but it was worth trying. Hello, Hector. Resolute Germ says, hi everyone. Hector says, Joe is on Mars. There's no water. Well, I bring the water with me. Peter says, no, not a good Star Trek episode. Well, but a good Star Trek Discovery episode. Resolute Germ says, I come in for the first thing I hear is praise for STD. Yeah, it's a strange new world. It is a strange new world, Resolute Germ. Hector says, strange, isn't it? Those Barcode Boy says, Mama says, what's keeping you busy? Lol, I guess what's up? Yes. Well, obviously, I'm still not walking. You will be the first to know, I promise, once I do. YouTube is one of the things keeping me busy, as is, of course, the very part-time-ish contractor tech support job I do for the forum software company, vBulletin. Between the vBulletin stuff, the YouTube stuff, I'm also doing the website for a more popular YouTuber, the Anti-Trekker, and I've got some other things on the table. I mean, just doing a YouTube video every day, whether I stream for hours, which, I mean, I do a stream. It's very hard for me to do a stream less than 2 hours. I'd say maybe 10% of my streams are less than 2 hours long. Usually they're in the 2.5 to 3 hour mark. So, I mean, we're talking hours of work a day just in YouTubing, and even more if I put out a video that's 15 to 20 minutes long. There's probably 3 to 4 hours worth of editing at minimum that goes into that video. I mean, if it's a 15-minute video like I did for this latest video on Dissenter that I put out, that was a recorded video. I mean, it took me maybe I recorded probably 30 minutes of footage. So that was 30 minutes right there. Then it took me a couple of hours to edit that down to about 15 minutes. Then maybe another half hour to 40 minutes to put in some effects. And then just waiting for it to upload to YouTube and putting in the tags and creating a custom thumbnail. That's probably another half hour easy. So, we're talking, it's be very difficult to put out more than one of those a day, because we're already talking hours of work. I mean, even though I could spend 3 hours here talking on a live stream, other than making a custom thumbnail either before or after and setting up the tags, it's actually a lot less work to do a live stream than it does to do even a 15-minute or 20-minute video, because in the videos I'm literally editing out every and I make. Like just there, I would have had to edit that out. So it's surprisingly busy. Surprisingly takes a lot of time. So yeah, that is some of the stuff keeping me busy. And of course, watching Facebook to see what the rest of the family is doing. That also takes a fair lick of time. Dale Stafford, welcome, Dale. He says, just the spectacle of it was impressive, but many of the details were lacking. But our expectations are so low for the show that we give them credit for things they ought to do anyway. A very, very good point. I've gotten so used to being so disappointed by Star Trek Discovery that even if they just do something that is the most minimally point impressive, or even just they don't screw something up, I can't help but feel like, they've done something good and give them credit for it. Whereas the same thing happened in, say, Deep Space Nine or The Next Generation or Enterprise, I wouldn't even have noticed, because I would just expect things to be done like that. So it is true, and it does complicate trying to review Discovery episodes, and that is why I said in the Discovery, the full review of the episode of If Memory Serves that I uploaded on Friday, I said in that review that from now on, it's just too complicated to compare Discovery episodes with more established actual Trek shows. So basically, you have to take all Discovery episodes as not only happening in their own timeline, but happening on their own scale of quality. Okay, so an 8 from a Discovery episode is not going to be the same as an 8 from a Next Generation or a Deep Space Nine episode. And it's just the way it's got to be. There's no way to reconcile. It's like trying to compare things that are too different. Like, nobody would expect me to say you could compare on a scale of 1 to 10, on the same 1 to 10 scale, the quality of an episode of Seinfeld and an episode of Deep Space Nine. Okay, they are completely different shows, completely different genres. They are different lengths of time. One is a 30-minute sitcom. The other is an hour-long sci-fi drama. They both can have excellent episodes, but what you'd be looking for in one wouldn't. If you had a Seinfeld episode as Deep Space Nine, you might say, no, this doesn't work. And it's just as well if you had Deep Space Nine as a Seinfeld episode, you'd say, no, this is a very bad Seinfeld episode. So, we're talking apples and oranges here. And as different as Discovery is, just because it's called Star Trek doesn't make it so. No pun intended. So yeah, they cannot be compared. And so yes, I just gotta say, my Discovery ratings do not correspond to other Star Trek shows. It's just the way it's gotta be. I hope that was a long answer to a very concise point you pointed out, Dale. Peter, welcome, Peter. He says Joe is the mafia on Mars, to Resolute Germ. Hector says Joe is a strange thing to explain. I sure am. Resolute Germ says, I thought I was in the wrong stream for a second. You mean you thought it was Trek Yards? I did. I watched the Trek Yards video before. The theory on Michael Burnham. The theory on the Red Angel and Captain Foley's theory is that Michael Burnham is the Red Angel. And while I think many of us can agree that's a good theory, the question is what took him so long to get to that theory. I think a lot of people called that a lot earlier. Marlena Monroe. Hello, Bird of Prey and chat. Hello, Marlena. welcome to the stream. Hector says, hi, Marlena, how's it going? DJ Odyssey says, hail Bird of Prey 5, hail everyone. Hail DJ, good to see you. Marlena says, good, thanks. And saying hi to everybody, and everybody saying hello to her. And Hector says, with a little stomach ache, nothing better, nothing major. Sorry to hear about the stomach ache, Hector. More salutations being thrown around. Well, I lost the comments. I gotta back up. Gotta back up a bit. And wow, I am really a little bit behind in comments. Hector says nothing for someone from the mirror universe. I know, I still, there are these things that I just accept and don't ask questions about, because I feel like it'll only make me look like an idiot. But I've got to wonder, and maybe it's, do I really just forget that much about Mirror Mirror? But why is Marlena considered to be from the mirror universe? I mean, who's to say she wasn't the regular universe version? I don't recall any particular character in Mirror Mirror that was only in the mirror universe. So maybe somebody can explain that, and I can read it in 10 minutes when I reach that section of the comments. Hector says, you saluted already in Discord. What are you doing? Marlena says, hee, well, I get well soon, Hector. And he says, thanks. Peter Quinn says, we would play City Skylines for 3 hours, Bird of Prey. Indeed. Last night I did. I believe it was a 2-hour and 52-minute City Skyline stream. And of course, a great deal of that was just me reading comments till I got fed up with the comments and just started playing the game for a while, which was good because I was very happy with the university district we made. So Hector says, I'd prefer to see Bird of Prey 5 die again and again. You see, Hector, my family is here. They don't understand when you say comments like that. They're not going to get it. He says, I mean play a first-person shooter. Okay. Well, hopefully Barcode Boys has explained to my grandmother that he just means that I'm very bad at playing games like Call of Duty, and I get shot in the game and die multiple times in any 5-minute increment. Anti-Ryan Johnson says hello and Qapla. Hello and Qapla back. Anti-Ryan Johnson. Hector says masterfully. Yes. Resolute Germ says you missed Bird praising STD. Well, anybody can watch my Star Trek Discovery review from Friday, and you can see me praising it. And I'm going to keep the spoilers from this last Orville mostly quiet, since I know some of you are going to watch it later with Anti-Tracker, possibly any minute. I have no idea when he might start, but won't be till after his stream that I start digging into it. But suffice to say, although I liked this episode, I like this episode better than last episode of the Orville. I'm a little disappointed that they played it safe at the end. And to be honest, the Orville, I don't know, it seems like they used to take more chances in season 1. For example, in About a Girl and how it ended, that was a risky ending. It wasn't the happy ending everyone was expecting, and I think they were setting us up for what could have been an exceptional episode in this last one, and it ended just a good episode. So I just feel like they left something on the table, and after Anti-Tracker does his first live run at it, I will explain myself more. Whether that's tomorrow or later today, I don't know. We'll see. But those are just my feelings. I'm assuming if you've seen the episode, you may already have a hinkling at what I'm talking about. Ryan Johnson says, "Hail DJ." Marlena says, "Yo, Thomas. Yo, Auntie? Is Auntie here? Did I see Auntie Tracker? Oh, Auntie Ryan Johnson, of course. See, this is what happens. Like when I kept calling Darth Kilhoun Darth Revan. Actually, I kept calling him Darth Raven until I was corrected that it was Dark Revan multiple times. Which is fine, because something like that I need to be corrected multiple times. Hector says soon he will be praising Ryan Johnson. I don't think so, Hector, because to be honest, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. So even if the next Star Wars was a great movie for Star Wars fans, I probably still wouldn't see it until it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, and I really wouldn't even be upset that it would wait that long to see it. I mean, it's not something I'd go out of my way to see early. And I see the DNR in full effect. And now I lost the comments again. Ryan Johnson says, "Hi, Marlena." DJ Odyssey says, "Joe's talking about Discovery, I think." DJ says, "Or his sleep talking again." I'm not sleep talking. Time change could have messed him up. It did, a little. Okay, and I'm going to be honest. I will vote for whatever candidate, no matter how ridiculously socialist or democratic socialist or full-out communist they are. If Andrea Ocasio-Cortez says, "Screw the Constitution," she's going to run for president anyway, even though she's not nearly old enough to hold office. But she promises to get rid of daylight saving time or just go on constant daylight saving time. Either way, I don't care which. Whether we stay in DST or we get rid of DST forever. I don't care which, or we split the difference and do it a half hour. Whatever candidate promises to get rid of DST on the federal level completely, they will get my vote. Because I'll be honest, I don't think anyone is going to get anything else done, any big projects done for the foreseeable future. But ending daylight saving time is one thing that I think a strong president could possibly pull off, because there is, I don't know anyone who's against stopping it. I mean, yes, people argue, well, we should have it full time or we shouldn't have it full time. But I honestly don't know anyone who says, oh, yeah, daylight saving is still a great idea. I love losing an hour of sleep once a year. I love having to change, when I have to eat, and feeling hungry at different parts of the day than I usually do, or taking showers when I feel like I should still be sleeping, or that my dog is waking me up to go out an hour before I need to get up for work, because they don't understand daylight saving. And why should they? They're an animal. Nobody has ever said that to me. So just whether it's Trump or Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden or Cory Booker or... Okay, I'm not voting for Bloomberg. But if it's anybody but Bloomberg, no matter how nuts they are, I will vote for them if they promise to get rid of daylight saving, because the time is now. Oh, and the shirt, for those who weren't sure, Shaka when the walls fell, from the famous Star Trek The Next Generation episode. And man, I'm having a hard time ordering new clothes, because this is a 2X, and I much prefer wearing, and you probably see me half the time with shirts much too big for me, but I've always liked wearing much looser clothing, so I would order 4X shirts, even though I didn't need a 4X shirt. Usually, I probably was a 3X for a long time, but in the last year plus, I've lost well over 25 pounds, and I'm now, easily a 2X. Maybe, depending on the cut, I might even be able to get away with a little bit smaller. But I do not like to go any smaller, because even though this seems to fit much better than, say, the blue shirt I was wearing on Friday, I'm not used to it. And now I've got a wardrobe full of 3 and 4X t-shirts, which I would never hesitate twice to wear when I'm not on YouTube. But now the fact that I go on YouTube and I see the shirts folded over on itself all the time, it's like, ugh. So that's why I've been ordering more 2X shirts. And since I've got to order them anyway, I figured, why not get, the typical nerdy, geeky ones that only we truly understand. So, yes, you will be seeing a slight change in my wardrobe over coming months. Hope you enjoy it. But no, I'm definitely not sleep talking. Anti-Ryan Johnson said, Bird praised STD. What alternate universe did I stumble into? I know Anti-Ryan Johnson. We just, what was it? A week and a half ago, I was having a mental breakdown trying to explain the logic of why Sarek, the most logical Vulcan in the universe, would ever convince Michael Burnham to take Spock back to section 31. I mean, I was like, section 31? Why? Yes, I mean, I'm faking it now. I wasn't at the time. But, so a week and a half, what a difference it makes. I don't know. But you know what? That's why Discovery has to be on its own scale, because almost any other Star Trek series, the episode before, if memory serves, whatever it was called, I mean, so much worse than even a bad episode. I mean, we think of the bad episodes of Star Trek. We think Threshold in Voyager. We think Move Along Home in Deep Space Nine. We think, some people think, Code of Honor in The Next Generation. I'd say Encounter at Farpoint was a far worse episode than Code of Honor, to be honest. But almost anything from the first and some of the shows of the second season of TNG were pretty bad episodes. But none of them, or even Spock's Brain from TOS, none of them, they are all shining stars of art, like Shakespeare level quality works of award-winning fiction compared to some of the episodes we've seen of Star Trek Discovery. Just some of the crazy stuff that makes zero sense. I mean, the episodes are so bad, they tear down the entire season, not just the episode they're in. The damage can't be contained to just that episode. And yet, we still have to take them and judge them episode by episode. We got to do our best. Speaking of Star Trek, remind me, I had a very interesting dream last. You know what? Remind me. I'll just talk about it now. Had a very interesting dream last night, and I swear this is legit dream. First time this has happened. In fact, it's the first time I ever remember being in control of flight in a dream of mine. Now, granted, even when I had the lucid dreaming abilities I had back in the day that I've spoken about decades ago, flying, I mean, like taking off like Superman or something, flying around, which I hear is kind of a popular dream. Apparently lots of people fly in their dreams, supposedly. Has never happened to me. I've never had a dream where I was just flying around like Superman. And even when I could lucid dream, the thought of just flying never even occurred to me in the dream, so I've never done that. But I've been on planes in dreams, don't get me wrong, and they're scary most of the time, because I would say almost without fail, any dream that I've been on a commercial plane, the plane ends up crashing. It's unfortunate. I mean, it's not a disaster. I don't feel the crash. I don't know that I don't think we've died, but I see the window, I see out the window, and it's almost a recurring dream, although the situation is different each time. But for some reason, I can either see out the cockpit window, like they have the door open and I'm sitting in the first row, so I can clearly see what the pilots are saying, or I have a window seat so I can see what's going on out to the side, and they'll be claiming we're halfway to our destination, and I'll look forward and I'll be like, If we're halfway to our destination, why is our elevation so low that we're literally going to fly under this bridge? Or why is the building to the right of me higher than the plane? And then I realized, oh shit, we're coming in for a crash landing. This isn't right. We're not supposed to be, we're not supposed to be this low. And sure enough, something happens and I take it that the plane has crashed and I wake up. So that's the extent of flying in my dreams until last night. I was somewhere in the American Southwest. My family, my immediate family, was there. And there was these terrible, terrible storm clouds. It wasn't Disneyland, but we were at some type of like amusement park type place. And we saw these giant storm. I saw this very dark giant storm cloud on the horizon. I remember asking, which way is east or west, because I wanted to know if that cloud was coming towards us. So we knew the time. I looked at the sun, and best I could figure, yes, the cloud was more or less due west of us. So I was like, we need to take shelter. And so we kind of pushed our way into an already crowded building, but it looked like it was a food court, but it looked like the strongest building at this place, because most of the buildings there looked like they were just built of cheap wood and probably weren't going to provide any protection in a serious storm. So at this particular building, I think we might be safe. I was still nervous because this was a very menacing looking dark gray cloud. And as it came over, it was actually spaceships coming out of the cloud, and they started shooting things on the ground. And one crashed, and I went out to look at it, and and I swear, it was a Klingon bird of prey, but it was a much smaller bird of prey, so that the front section, where the bridge is, it was actually more like just a fighter jet where it only held one person, but it was green and it had the dome top, but the dome top was glass. So like could sit in it and then pull this over me and I could fly, but because it crashed, the dome was broken off, but the rest of the ship was okay. So I was like, oh, I've got to get in this thing and I've got to fight off the other aliens, because they were all in these fighters shooting at things. So I got in it, and I was, again, for those who don't know, I'm always walking in my dreams, so it's not like I'm in a wheelchair wheeling around. So I got in the plane, or the bird of prey, and there were these controls on either side, and I managed to figure out how to take off, and I started chasing, and then I was chasing the cloud, and I realized underneath this cloud was like a much bigger Klingon looking ship, more of what's the name of their big blue TNG style cruiser, Cavort class? I don't remember, but it wasn't blue, it was dark gray, and I figured where the weapons were, and a few shots from the guns on the wingtips, and that big ship just blew itself to hell and like the cloud disappeared, and all the other ships started raining down, and I don't know how it ended. I assume I landed safely, but I mean, that was it. And it was the first time I was ever in charge of my own flying in a dream. So I thought that was pretty cool and worth some mention. And I figured I'd give you guys more time to make comments for me to get through. So I'm sorry if that didn't have some huge payoff, but you know what? It was a hell of a lot of fun for me. Scary too. I'll be honest. It scared me, but I did not mind having to get in the fighter ship that looked like a Klingon bird of prey and kick some alien ass. And before you ask, no, Independence Day was not playing on the television when I went to sleep. I actually went to sleep. I fell asleep with Anti-Tracker's live stream on. And this happened, I believe, would have been well after his live stream ended. So there was basically silence. There was no television or computers on. It was just silence. And unless Anti-Tracker brought up Independence Day during his stream, which I don't think he did because I listened to it this morning, and I did not hear it. Resolute Germ says that is being far too kind to STD. Richie Poole says we have to lower the baseline of quality for STD. Totally true, yes. Hector says he's speaking of relative praise. So, yes. DJ Odyssey says, I know first Bird, then Tracker, and Tracker like Captain Marvel. I think I'm in the alternate universe. Speaking of Captain Marvel, and that is a movie I'm not going to see until it comes out on, DVD, Blu-ray, or Netflix or something. But I watched Anti-Tracker's review first. Then I watched Nerdrotic's review. And then today I watched Doomcock's review. And it went from, Anti-Tracker put it at like a 7.5 out of 10. Said a downright decent Marvel movie. Nerdrotic put it at a bad Marvel movie, but maybe not the worst Marvel movie. But definitely not a good Marvel movie. And Doomcock put it as like the worst Marvel movie ever released. And not one of them seemed to review the same parts, except for one part, which is a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. But it's like I'm almost wondering, are there different cuts of this movie playing in different theaters? Because if Anti-Tracker saw the same movie that Doomcock described, I cannot believe that he wouldn't have nothing to say, or that he wouldn't bring up something that Doomcock brought up over and over again. And again, I will wait later this week when Anti-Tracker finally gets into his spoiler review before I bring it up. But if you are okay with spoilers and you haven't seen Doomcock's review yet, I would watch it when you can. Not now, obviously, you're watching me. But watch it when you can. because there's something wrong. It's what he says and what Anti-Tracker says. I have a hard feeling they're both true at the same time. But I also know that it would be completely absurd and certainly would have been newsworthy had they released different cuts of the same movie. So I really don't know what the hell's going on. Hector says, like in that turd almost doesn't smell. Apples and rotten oranges. Very, very true. Or apples and rotten tomatoes, perhaps. DJ Odyssey says, if Trolita starts liking poop, then I'm out of YouTube. Lol. Ryan Johnson says, I'll wait to see Captain Marvel on Netflix or regular TV. DJ says hello to Richie, and they say hello back. And Dale Strafford says, Martian mafioso, yes. Lol. I am not, okay, there is no mafia on Mars. So just I want to make that clear. Okay? No mafia on Mars. No mafia on Earth. Don't worry about it. Just keep paying your taxes. Resolute Germ says, I can't decide if Bird and Trekker are compromised or just broken men. I don't know. Maybe Super Chat or Bird Chat 1 broke us. Maybe it's breaking us all. Ryan Johnson says, Bird and Tracker are pod people. Run. How do we become paid shills? I want to know. Where do I sign up to become a paid shill? I'd be great at it. Peter Quinn says, been here for a while, Bird of Prey. Siver the start. Since the start. Yes, Peter, as I said, welcome in my head. I realized I'd welcomed you already, but it would seem rude to rescind the welcome, so. But yes, thank you for being here again. Ryan Johnson says, damn that lore. Hector says, that's a pretty air supply you have there. It would be a shame if something happened to that. At Dale Stafford. B is here. You don't think Michael and the Red Angel, and I don't think Michael is the Red Angel, and I think the Red Angel saves Michael to alter the timeline for its own purpose. That's possible. DJ Odyssey says, I'm trying to figure out how Joe is breathing on Mars. That's very simple, DJ. I'm an android. I don't require oxygen. DJ Odyssey says, look at her outfit. Lol. And Resolute Germ says, Joe's an alien. Whose outfit are we looking at? Marlena says, check my profile pic. It's Mirror Marlena. Oh, Marlena. Okay. Honestly, I'm running a 4K monitor, and the avatars are so tiny. I can barely see the B for B Cluet. I know he told me how to pronounce the name, and I've already forgotten. But I barely see that as a B. I have no idea. I mean, I can't even tell. I could tell it's basically a person, but I wouldn't be able to tell who it was, let alone what universe they were from. So thank you very much for the explanation, Marlena. Hector says, he said he carried its own water. Maybe he carried his own oxygen. That is true. The very fact that there's liquid water right behind me and it's not boiling away is proof that wherever I am on Mars, there's enough of an atmosphere that the water isn't boiling away. So there's as long as it's a nitrogen oxygen atmosphere, I should have no trouble breathing. Peter says, well, last night you said you were last night to you was sleep time to me, says Peter to me. That is true. Chief Cook, welcome Chief Cook. He says hi. DJ Odyssey says, yeah, you suck against zombies, Joe. I killed a hell of a lot more zombies than they killed of me, okay? You know, you only have to be wrong once and die. You could kill 1,000 zombies. If the 1,001st zombie gets you, you die. That's just the way it works. It's not fair. I know, a war is not fair. DJ Odyssey says, hi, Chief. Everybody's saying hello to the Chief. Hi, guys. Hector says that DJ, don't bet against human opponents, you say. Resolute says, hi, Chief. DJ says, yeah, go figure. And zombies don't even shoot back. Yeah, but they also don't die when you shoot them. Ryan Johnson says, hi, Chief. And don't tell me to take headshots. I know to take headshots. Chief Cook says, no problem. String follow Hawk. And then he says, hi, Johnson. And I lost the comments. Hi, Johnson. Oh, Ryan Johnson. Very, gotcha. And Dale says, I fail miserably at first person. I usually get shot within seconds of showing up. A lot of times I just want to run around and explore the world. Star Wars worlds in particular. Never played an open world Star Wars game. B says, took a while for the media to put on Jan Michael Vincent's obituary. Yes, it did. Hector says, you do splendid in the Cripple Brigade along with Anti-Tracker and Joe then at Dale. He would do well, yes. Chief Cook says, yeah, B. DJ says, Bird would still want to marry Kathleen Kennedy. What? Who said this stuff? Where do you get this stuff from? Darth Kilhoun. Welcome, Darth Kilhoun. I did not realize you were an avid player of Hearts of Iron 4, Darth. I was a subscriber to you, but I don't know if I just quickly glanced at your videos or whatever. But I have now clicked that bell icon, Darth. Anyone who enjoys Hearts of Iron 4, or if you don't know what it is, it's basically, I mean, and I know I'm not an expert on it because I've never played the game personally. I've only watched other people play it. But if I had to guess it, it's almost like fighting World War II over again, but the sides change up and you take control of different countries and you make alliances and it becomes a real total world war. not just European theater and a Pacific theater, but the whole world gets involved. I've seen the USA take over Canada and Mexico and move into South America, only to have, say, Brazil join forces with Russia and push the Americans back. I've seen France take over Europe, like that would ever happen. I've seen some weird stuff, but yeah, it's a good game, and it's fun to watch, even if you don't play. Honestly, I think it's more fun to watch because there's so much stuff you have to learn to play the game well. So if you have any interest in watching or playing a game like that, learning to play a game like that, definitely check out Darth Kilhoun's channel, because that seems to be the vast majority of what he does. And of course, DJ Odyssey, check his channel out. He does some city skylines, he does some news, he does some rants, and all types of things. So very, very interesting channels here that I should just point out. Marlena says, hi Darth. B says, why doesn't Kathleen Kennedy have a Jeep or something? If Kathleen Kennedy has a Jeep and she's single, you know what? I might marry her because she's got a shit ton of money. She's not particularly ugly, and she's got a Jeep. So what the hell else, you know? Well, I'll just be taken care of. I'd live off my wife's money. That's fine with me. You know what? Maybe I do want to marry her. DJ says, Ty again, Darth, for the sub. Oh, thank you again, Darth, for the sub last night. Every time I see TY, I'm thinking Ty from the Orville. Darth Kilhoun says to Marlena, hi. Resolute Germ says, that is a disgusting thought, DJ. Thomas Potts says, are you drunk talking? Thomas, did I welcome you to the channel yet? Because it feels like we're way into it. But welcome, Thomas, if I haven't. No, I'm not drunk talking. DJ Odyssey says, Kathleen can afford some Jeeps. She certainly can. Dale says, Star Wars does great fantasy worlds building, and that's why the games are so rich between Cloud City and Tatooine, so different. Star Trek in general is generic futuristic in most cases. You know what? I will give you that. I have always said that, especially in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, with few exceptions, nearly every alien planet to me looked more or less the same. Some were lighter, some were darker, some had green grass, some had lava or something, but the architecture just looked like different cities on the same planet. Nothing had a truly alien feel. If you made them grayscale, I don't have any idea that I would really be able to tell Cardassia from Bajor or Romulus. Vulcan always looked different because it was the desert, but of course now that's not even true in Discovery anymore. But besides Earth and Vulcan and Andorian with its rings, which we never really saw in TNG or Deep Space Nine anyway, when they would show Romulus or they'd show Cardassia or they'd show even Kronos, the only thing that stuck out in Kronos is if they did a picture of the Great Hall. They all seem so much alike, and when they would do that, that one or two scenes to show they were on a planet, it was like they had the same person painting the background for all the time, and he always used the same techniques or something. So yes, there is definitely a far bigger diversity of in planets in Star Wars than there is in Star Trek, and that is probably about the only plus I will give Star Wars over Star Trek. Um, Hector says, or huts. Sure. AOC would ban clocks, says Thomas Potts. Peter Quinn says, you guys have changed. Check. Wait. You guys have changed clocks, Berto Prey. Yeah, you guys have changed clocks. Yes. Yes, here in the U.S. we've changed our clocks last night. I know in Europe, you guys have a few more weeks to go. Resolute Germ says, who are you and where's the real Joe? Darth Calhoun says, do not vote for Marxism. They are our true enemies. Darth, I'm going to vote for anyone who's going to give me my hour of sleep back. CJ Odyssey says, but Joe, you gain an hour of sleep in the fall so it evens out. No, because then I'm still an hour off. Then I'm one way I'm hungry, the other way I'm not ready to eat. One day, one time the dog wants to go out an hour early. The next time the dog doesn't want to go out for an hour. Or the dog wants to go out later in the night after it's too late to go out. There is no good time change. Okay? I will do one more or whatever or no more. I don't care. But we need to pick a time and just stay with it all year round. So, you know what? As much as it would be annoying to split the difference and just go a half hour, instead of going from 4 to 5, we go from 4 to 4:30 or something, or 4:30 back to 4, whatever it is. We just pick it and we stick with it. And I'm sure if we adopted that, Europe and Canada and Mexico, they would adopt similar things, because frankly we lead in time and the other countries follow eventually. So we should just do it. Everybody'd be happy, and it's actually something that we are capable of doing without bickering among, there's no conservative or liberal viewpoint on whether DST needs to stay or go. There's no ideological debate. Okay? It's not even really debatable. But sure, people will have different opinions, but at least they're going to have different opinions, and it's not going to matter which party they're from, because it's not a per party issue, right? It's not that illegal aliens love the time change or something, and big businesses don't. There's no crossover. It would be a great issue to argue old school style and pass without having to worry about politics, regular old politics. Yes, Peter Quinn says, yes, clock changing is a big issue. When my clocks change, it's a bugger. Hector says, when you're a Sith, no excuse. I don't have to take advice from you, Darth Calhoun. Chief Cook says, have anyone seen the movie Hunter Killer? I don't believe I have. Peter Quinn says, so on Sanders then. So Sanders then, Bird of Prey. If he is, I never heard him talk about daylight saving, but if he's against it, then it might be. Hector says, nice shirt. Thank you, Hector. A little hard to explain, though. I don't have to explain it. Either you know what it means or you don't. That's how I feel. Chief Cook says Trump will win in 2020. I suspect that to be true, but you never know. We've seen such ridiculous lengths that the left is going to with their Trump derangement syndrome that I don't know. I don't know if he'll win. He might be so disgusted he doesn't even run again. I have no idea. Because I tell you, I mean, he could arguably pardon himself, or even if he didn't pardon himself, he could resign like the day before his term ends and let Pence pardon him, which would be completely legal, because yes, it's exactly what happened during Nixon. Nixon resigned and Ford pardoned him. So clearly the vice president that becomes president can pardon the president who left. That is tried and tested. That's precedent. So, I mean, he could do that, but that's only for federal cases. And New York State, the geniuses of Governor Cuomo and whoever our Attorney General is, the same people who named the bridge after their father, and lost an Amazon headquarters. These same people are in charge, and they are hell-bent on finding something to charge Trump with. So if Trump ever leaves the presidency, which he will have to do either in a year or 5 years, whatever it is, he may have to face charges on the state level that neither he nor Pence nor the next president could get him out of. So I don't know. He might be willing to make a deal because, you know, the man's life isn't over, and just whenever he leaves the presidency, be it now or in 2024, be it in 2020 or 2024, he's still going to have to deal with a whole lot of crap. And I don't know that he wants to. And if he could make a deal, a binding deal, that, you know, if he doesn't run again, or he resigns from office, maybe at some other point, that, you know, New York and all the other states would drop any charges they might possibly find against him, that might make a difference. I mean, he might consider it, because why put your life on the line for, frankly, an ungrateful population? And again, these are state things, and once he's no longer president, he's totally vulnerable to any state suing him and bringing him up on charges. And you know that just because he may, or, you know, he doesn't mean he even did anything illegal. Could you imagine if Donald Trump just was brought up on a grand jury, even if they charged him with littering, the very fact that a grand jury might charge him, and that he would have to go to a courtroom in a place like New York City that is like 99%, 89% loony liberal. They're gonna convict him. They're gonna crucify him, no matter what he's charged with. And the judge is going to be just as loony as the people on the jury. So he's got a lot to worry about, especially since his home is New York City. I mean, if he expects to return to Trump Tower one day, he's got to make some type of peace with the people who run the city. And I don't know, it's kind of worrisome. He doesn't seem to have any plan in place. If I was him, I'd be making friends with somebody who's damn good at politics and had half a shot of winning both the mayor and the governorship of New York State, because they're going to be the prime grounds for the Trump retaliation tour once he's out of office. And if Cuomo's still in office, or some other Democrat, or God forbid an AOC type gets in office, a higher office in New York City or New York State, it's going to be hell for him. He is not going to be in a good situation, and there's not going to be much he can do about it, even if he was the president. Peter Quinn says, love the shirt, Bird of Prey. The walls have fell. They have. Darth Calhoun says to Hector, Marxists are the world's enemy, more than the Sith, more than us Sith. At least we have a code we follow for our society. They don't believe in society and want to destroy it. DJ Odyssey says, slap a commie in the chops and toss them out of a helicopter. I will assume that's not directed at anyone in particular, DJ. Darth Calhoun says to Chief Cook, Trump, 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 Trump. That probably going to get the stream poll. Thanks, Darth. Hector says that breakdown was beautiful. Well, I'm glad it was. I wish I knew which breakdown you were talking about. There's been so many. This has been a particularly, I'm talking well this stream, I'll be honest. I don't know what we're talking about each time, but I like the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm sorry. DJ Odyssey says, you slapped the commie before I sent them to the camps. Chief Cook says, yes, Lord Calhoun. DJ Odyssey says, no, Darth, you can send them. If anything, I left them after I tossed them out of the helicopter. Oh, boy. Chief Cook says, hail the God Emperor Trump. And, Darth Calhoun says to Chief Cook, hail the God Emperor Trump. I thought that was kind of weird for Chief Cook to say, because Chief Cook quickly responded with, Trump is no emperor. And Darth Calhoun says, DJ Odyssey, I'll put them to work, but if you try to find any, by all means, they are a plague that must be purged. Darth Calhoun says to Chief Cook, look up God Emperor Trump. It's amazing to see. DJ Odyssey says, I will only fly the helicopter 10 feet off the ground, so something is left to put in the labor camps. Lol. DJ, you should throw them out of the helicopter like they were turkeys on Thanksgiving. Because God is my witness. I thought communists could fly. I don't know. DJ says, okay, I only fly helicopter 10 feet off the ground. Chief Cook is lolling at Darth. DJ Odyssey says, hey Joe, I was going to remind you, since you wouldn't get to the 20 minutes, but now you are talking about it, so you won't get to this for another hour, and you just told us, so no point. Yes, thank you, DJ. That was made at 3:47. It's now 4:29, so we are 57 minutes, if I'm counting right, behind. 47 minutes behind. Dale says, and weird things to do, like make a big deal of getting that dark matter asteroid, and we haven't heard from it since, and they're space jumping through, and they need to know it's murdering aliens. Okay, since I'm 40 something minutes behind, if Anti-Tracker has entered the chat and he is ready to stream, and I'm 40 minutes away from seeing that, Anti-Tracker, hit me up on Skype. It will break in, and I won't talk to you unless you want to. I'll bring you up if you want to come on, but then I'll know that it's time to wrap it up, and I'll finish the comments. I'll pull a Doomcock, and I'll upload another video later where I've finished reading the comments off stream, because I know you want to get the Orville. So just, if Anti-Tracker comes on, just somebody please give him that message, because I don't want to hold him up. Dale says, and weird things they do, like make a big deal of getting that dark matter asteroid, and we haven't heard from it since. And they're spore jumping even though they know it's murdering aliens. Yes, that was my arguably my biggest peeve with this episode. We just had 2 episodes of how terrible the spore drive is for the environment. Okay, it's destroying an entire ecosystem, and I mean, we were basically told that they're never going to be able to spore jump again because, you're genociding people more or less, right? I mean, it's like if Warp Drive was killing Smurf villages, and thousands of Smurfs were dying every time the Enterprise went to warp, and people cared about Smurfs for some reason. And we find out that they are sentient beings being massacred by the spore drive. And what do? And Talos 4 doesn't even seem all that far away, because they're able to get there in not much time anyway with warp drive. So it's not like they were on the other side of the galaxy, that it was going to take them 6 months. Which, by the way, would take like 150 years if they really were where we think they were. But, it's not even going to take them 6 months to get where they're going. It seems like it's going to take them a day, maybe less, to get where they're going. Just use the goddamn warp drive. The only reason they needed to have that scene was so Stamets didn't, had a reason to leave. And as much as I had a problem with the actor man-baby Wilson Cruz as a person, for him blocking me on Twitter, the character that he plays, the Doctor, I really liked him as the badass Doctor. It was believable to me. I think that character is a much better character with that mentality than the effeminate Doctor he was playing before. I had to choose my words carefully. So yes, I much prefer this guy to the previous guy, although the actor himself clearly still has lots of issues that he'll block people on Twitter he's never interacted with before. But you know what? When you're giving a good performance, I'm willing to overlook a lot of things, even man baby stuff, because you know what? A lot of actors are entitled pricks. Um, but you know what? If you're good enough, we're willing to overlook so much. So much we're willing to overlook. Frankly, we're willing to overlook, rape and worse. For decades. For decades, we're willing to overlook those types of things because they're just so damn good. And even after these things come out, we're still like, you know, we begrudgingly, you know. And then some people just overreact. Instead of not letting them make more movies, they go psycho and start erasing history. And as DJ Odyssey put it the other day, burning books. And destroying all the content they had previously made, like to erase them from the timeline, which is more scary to me. But I guess I wasn't their victim. But it's more scary to think about than the crimes they were being accused of. DJ Odyssey says, Darth Calhoun says to DJ Odyssey, "No, if you find them, make sure they are dead. I find them to be put in camps with little food, cramped living conditions, no sanitation, and they will die when they work the mines." So Darth Calhoun is going to put them in the industrial section of My City Skyline City. Hector says, "Tell my wife I love her very much." In quotes. Peter Quinn says, "I have lucid dreams myself, bird of prey. Normally it's when I'm falling and then I can fly. I wish I could fly. Wish I could touch the sky." Oh wait, am I even allowed to sing that song anymore? No, probably not. Was that an R. Kelly song? So erase it from history. Hector says crash. Darth Calhoun says to DJ Odyssey. Also Harrison Ford threw them off saying, "Get off my plane." Yes, that was a good line from a mediocre movie. Darth Calhoun says, "My most reoccurring dream is me being trapped in a hotel with terrorists, and they come in and I have to fight them off, but I die every time, no matter what weapons I have." Darth Calhoun, let me make a suggestion. The next time the terrorists come into the hotel in your dream, you kill another hostage and yell to whatever god these terrorists are pledging loyalty to, or if it's to a political organization, you say, "I've always hated these goddamn capitalist pigs," whatever it is, and try and join them and see perhaps that's the key to beating that dream. Darth Calhoun says, "Many of my dreams are lucid and I like them. I get terrified most of them before dying." I don't know why you'd be dying in a lucid dream. In a lucid dream, you can choose what happens to you. So why are you choosing to die? It's like choose your own adventure. Peter Quinn says, I'll give you my review of Captain Marvel when I see it, Bird of Prey. I would be interested in hearing it, Peter. DJ Odyssey said, Bird, watch a guy by the name of Tim Pool. Oh, DJ, I watch Tim Pool all the time. Tim Pool, Tim Cast, on his minds, on everything. Tim Pool is one of the top YouTubers I watch. I mean, the sci-fi people, of course, is like Anti-Tracker, Doomcock, Trek Yards, the rest of us here. The smaller channels. But the news and the politics stuff would be like Tim Pool and Knowing Better, who's falling more and more as a undeniable loony leftist. But I have hope that one day he will make videos like he used to make 2 or 3 years ago of high quality again. Oh, and Dave Cullen, of course. Gotta watch him. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. Joseph, welcome, Joseph. Honestly, I just came back from cinema, and I agree with Anti-Trekker. However, I would not rate it as high. I would give it a 6.5. It's good and it's forgettable, like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I've never seen Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I thank you for your opinion. So now we've got more people backing up the Anti-Trekker review, which is good news for Anti-Trekker. And it's still possible that there's several cuts of this movie circulating. I don't know. That would be nuts if it's true, though, wouldn't it? Hector says no two witnesses see the same crime. That seems like something I'd read on a fortune cookie. Joseph says Gary from Neurotic is overall negative. I do not agree with him due to his generally negative narrative. Doomcock I do not watch nor follow because I have enough toxicity in my life without him. Well, I'll be honest. I watched Neurotic and I watched Doomcock. Doomcock more than Neurotic, to be honest. Because, yes, Doomcock really only talks about the things he hates on his, 5 to 15 minute produced videos. And the first, 2 or 3 hours of his 6-hour live streams. But by the time you get to hour 4 of that live stream, he'll start talking about the things he likes, and I love he seems to have the same musical tastes as I, some older, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin type stuff, and he is an excellent singer. He can nail Frank Sinatra. If I had my eyes closed, I'd be hard pressed to tell that I was actually listening to Doomcock and not Frank Sinatra live. And he does so many voices besides Harvey and Shatner and Hank Hill and Boomhauer and Dale and all these voices. I don't know where he pulls these voices from, but goddamn, the man is a talented entertainer. So yeah, his opinions are he could not have been more negative on Captain Marvel, but I'm willing to give it a pass. I've not seen Captain Marvel, so to be completely honest, I may or may not agree with any of them. Anti-Trekker I'll be honest, let's take Identity Part 2 of the Orville. Anti-Tracker rated it an 8.5. He rated it a very, very good episode of the Orville. I rated it a 5, which was by far the worst episode of the Orville yet. And I still, to this day, cannot understand how Anti-Tracker can give such a pass for things like how the timeline, how the quantum drive of a shuttle can beat the quantum drive of the Orville to Earth. I mean, and the one, you're allowed to have a TV show where that 1 in 100 chance, comes true, per episode. Right? I mean, you expect that. The hero ship, they're not going to die. If somebody says, I give you only Spock says, I give this only a 2% chance of succeeding. You know damn well it's going to succeed. But Spock only says that once per episode or per movie. He doesn't say that 5 times in 15 minutes. Because if 5 times in 15 minutes a 1 in 100 or a 2 in 100 chance comes true, that's not luck. That's just lazy writing. That's poor writing even. And that, no matter how much fun Identity was, and it had a very fun and very cool space battle scene, don't get me wrong. The space battle scene was awesome. Seeing the effects and the head cannons and the shooting and everything, awesome. But man, I mean, they must have had 10 different things in that episode, and it wasn't a particularly long episode, that every single thing had to that they had to be very, very lucky for it to happen. And besides that, even with all those things being lucky, the timeline just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that you can get from, you can take a month to get to Kalon, or even if it took 2 weeks to get to Kalon, it certainly doesn't take a day, right? I mean, they are far, they are outside of Union space. They're purposely a distant. No Union ship has ever been there. You're going to tell me that if they're 12 hours away, a Union ship wouldn't have just, did a drive-by just to check out, hey, what are these Kalons all about before we invite them into the Union? Even if they just, sat on the outside of the system in international waters or the equivalent thereof and took some, distance sensor readings. So they must be way out there, and, I don't even want to get into all these problems with the show, but yeah, Anti-Tracker, with his 8.5 review of that, and I thought it was much, much worse than he did. So I honestly don't know when I see Captain Marvel. And now I am not the biggest Marvel fan like he is. I mean, he lives, eats, and breathes Infinity War or the Avengers, whatever it is. I think they're good movies, but I really couldn't care that much about Marvel Multiverse in general, or whatever it's called, Cinematic Universe. I watch movies for what they are. I mean, Deadpool was funny. The Avengers were good movies. Thor movies were pretty good. Iron Man 1 I liked. Hard pressed to think of many others that I cared about. I didn't even see Guardians of the Galaxy. I tried watching it for like 15, 20 minutes. I couldn't get into it. It looked so stupid. Why is there a goddamn tree walk? I don't know. I didn't even want to have anything to do with it. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to agree with Anti-Tracker. I could just as easily agree with Doomcock or Nerdrotic on Captain Marvel. I mean, I respect Anti-Tracker's opinion, and love watching his channel, so I'm going to keep watching. But I don't know whose side I'm going to be on. And I won't know for many months unless somebody wants to bootleg the movie for me and send it to me via back channels. But don't do that. It is a federal crime. And I can't get you pardoned, despite what you might think. No super chat option on your channel, Joseph. No, Joseph, you need 1,000 subscribers before YouTube lets you do a super chat. And I just passed 250 today, so we are still some ways away from super chats. But thank you so much. There's really, I'm doing this for fun for now. I mean, I do hope to get it to the point that I can do super chats, and I would love to do that, because then I could dedicate a lot more time to this. Like everybody else says, once they can dedicate time to it. So I do hope to get there soon. If there's something you really want me to do, or you want to send, you'd like to show support, I would be happy to accept. You can go to paypal.me/birdopray5, BIRD, the letter O, PREY, the number 5. And you should see a form where you can put in an amount of money. It'll be to Joe's Ultimate LLC, which is my LLC company that all my internet endeavors are run from. So yes, if you'd like to send some money, it's totally appreciated. It is not necessary, but very much appreciated. paypal.me/birdopray5. I believe the link is in the description. It might not be, but yeah, that's what we can do in lieu of super chats. And it doesn't need to be, you don't need a PayPal account to use it. You can use a regular credit card or debit card. It's just processed by PayPal. And I'm now further behind in the comments. And my fault. DJ Odyssey says, "Hail, bird of prey. Just wanted another hello too." Hail, DJ. Thank you for still being here. Mo Joseph, he needs 100,000 subscribers. No, Joseph. He needs 1,000 subscribers before that works. Okay, well, you see, I should have kept reading. I should have assumed somebody would have explained that. DJ says, click the 3 dots next to the name and the list on the right and open up the person's page. Joseph says, DJ, thanks, did not know that. Sorry, only 748 more subscribers needed. I'll be honest, Joseph, in the last 4 or 5 days, or the last week, I think I've gotten probably 40 subscribers. There's this Center app extension that came out for web browsers that allows you to comment on any website, like YouTube, even if the video comments are disabled, or Captain Marvel's page on Rotten Tomatoes, even though they're deleting reviews. And that got super popular. My video on it, I got the first couple of videos I did on it were by far my best performing videos. I got thousands of views in just a few days on one, and like over 500 on the next. And I got a hell of a lot of subscribers off of those videos, and I did one yesterday, and it's still getting me subscribers. So yeah, plus Anti-Trekker, always almost hardly an anti-trigger stream goes by that he doesn't plug the channel. So I am eternally grateful to him as well. And even Doomcock, I send Doomcock a couple of bucks, and he, in a super chat, and even though it takes him maybe 3 hours, 4 hours to get to a super chat, he gets to every single one. Let me tell you, as negative as he might be, the man cares about his community. He cares about the people watching, and he will get to his super chats, and he doesn't mind throwing out a follow or a please follow. So yes, even on Doomcock's stream, he has also asked people to subscribe to me, so I'm very thankful to him too. Nobody makes it, very few people on YouTube make it without any help from other channels. And if when I'm in a situation that I can lend the same type of help out that I've received, I'm certainly going to do it. Certainly going to do it. DJ Odyssey says, yeah, I only need 942 more. Yes, you'll get there soon, DJ. Joseph says, I'm 1,000 short, but since I do not create content, will be hard. Well, Joseph, it's going to be harder than that, because even if you had 1,000 subscribers, there's also a minimum number of hours your channel and your content must be viewed. So YouTube was smart enough, because to be frank, people can pay to buy fake subscribers. And it's harder now than it was. I mean, a couple of years ago, you could literally pay $5 and get 1,000 YouTube subscribers almost overnight. And they were all fake. They were all bot accounts, but they counted as subscribers. So it wasn't enough that you had 1,000 subscribers. You also have to have some minimum number of hours viewed in totality for your channel in the past 30 days. Basically, it's just a way to make sure that your subscribers are real people and they're actually watching your content. I believe that if you have real subscribers, you easily do hit this whatever minimum threshold of hours watched is. I'm under that assumption. Maybe it's wrong, but from everything I've read, that nobody's really concerned about hitting those hours, or that if the 1,000 subscribers they get are legit subscribers, it's almost assured they're going to hit the minimum time required to get super chats. So yeah, I mean, the 1,000 subscribers is what I'm fighting for. But if you have 1,000 subscribers and no content, you still wouldn't be able to put a super chat on your first video. You would need to have quite a collection of videos, or one video with tens of thousands of views to get that minimum number of hours watched up there. Peter Quinn says, I'm going to log off now, Bird of Prey. It's 8 p.m. and I'm getting tired. Peter, I know it's been a long time since you've logged off, but thank you so much for coming and spending some time here. Have a wonderful night. DJ Odyssey says, damn, I was about to say headshots, laughing my ass off. Okay. Anti-Ryan Johnson says, later, Peter. Peter says, night all. Joseph says, DJ, are you the guy with the epic mustache? I would call him the guy with the epic bunny suit, but Marlena says, later, Peter. DJ says, no, I'm the pink bunny, yes. DJ Odyssey says, Joe couldn't even say France taking over Europe with a straight face. Darth Calhoun says, I play Hearts of Iron 4 Star Wars game. Or Star Wars games. Very cool. Well, I'm definitely in. The next time I see you streaming Hearts of Iron 4, I'm going to watch. Star Wars game, I will try to watch. I'll see if, I don't know if it'll hold my interest, but I will do my best, Darth. DJ Odyssey says, and I do Fallout 4. Yes, I forgot. DJ Odyssey also does Fallout 4. DJ says, go even further back. It was World of Warcraft. You know what? I've never played World of Warcraft. I loved Warcrafts 1, 2, and 3. I've never played World of Warcraft. And DJ Odyssey yelled, called it. What did you call? Damn it, DJ, I need more info. You know I'm an hour behind and 50 minutes behind. Thomas Potts says, when is AT streaming, or did he forget? Thomas, Anti-Tracker could be streaming at any minute. He said between 4 and 6 p.m. Eastern. Well, that means I've got an hour to finish up if he comes in at 6. Darren Wagner, welcome. Darren says the center gab is pretty cool. Trying it out now as we speak. Thank you so much, Darren. Yeah, it is cool, and I use it. It's kind of like on some websites, it's like hiding a secret message that only people in the club will find. So, I mean, yeah, there are some sites like Captain Marvel's Rotten Tomato page that has thousands and thousands of comments. But then when you use it on like a YouTube channel like Anti-Trackers or Anti-Trackers Forum, they're like leaving secret messages. Thomas Potts says, thanks, DJ. DJ Odyssey says, you are welcome. Marlena says, hiya, Darren. Howdy, Darren. Lots of Darren. Lots of highs, and thanks to Joseph. And DJ Odyssey says, oh, Bird, my next rant is going to be the soft reboot they are doing for Suicide Squad. DJ, I don't think I've ever seen Suicide Squad, but I'll listen to the rant. I've listened to rants for many of things I don't watch, and never have, and never plan to. Thomas Potts says Star Wars planets are all one environment, which I think is stupid. Ryan Johnson says, I can't believe it's after 4 p.m. already. Joseph says it's after 9 p.m. in my time zone, closer to Monday, closer to work. Very sorry about that, Joseph. What out of curiosity, whereabout in the world are you? DJ says, move to Indiana. Parts of that don't switch time. I tell you, if somewhere, I'd be going to Arizona, because that whole state, excepting some Indian reservations, does not, they don't follow daylight saving time, or Hawaii. So Hawaii's another good place to go. I'm going to be right back, people. You know what time it is. Be right back. Yeah, couple of good old boys, never meaning no harm. Just something, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law would allow. Turd is the word. Turd. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure how this song goes. That's the best I could get. I probably shouldn't have said that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that, but thank you again to Anti-Trekker and to Joshua for that short animation. Perfectly timed to my Gelogia schedule. Uh, back to the comments. Darth Calhoun says that Thomas Potts agreed they need planets like Earth's multi-ecosystems. That's right. The Star Wars planets, although to some effect the Star Trek planets as well. I mean, for Renganar, the whole planet is rainy, and Vulcan, we're, before Discovery, the whole planet was desert, you know. Very few planets really had multiple ecosystems. And, right, I mean, why would you have an entire planet of ice? And if it was, the poles would be almost uninhabitable if even the equator was an ice planet or was an entire moon of forests. That doesn't make sense either. But these are things we let go because, for the most part, the stories are strong enough that we can overlook little things. DJ Odyssey says next Suicide Squad movie will only have one person from the first movie cast in the squad. Though at least it will be the best one, lol. Resolute Germ says, Dear God, still on daylight savings time. DJ Odyssey says, Joe, if you vote for Sanders, I will hunt you down, lol. DJ says, and then give you a wet willy. Oh, that's... I thought you were just going to hunt me down to kill me. Now that I know you're going to hunt me down to give me a wet willy, that's even worse. Darth Calhoun says Trump will run again. He has no crimes. Darth, that doesn't matter in today's day and age, does it though, Darth? If he's on a jury, if he gets in front of a jury in New York City, he's going to prison. I don't care what they put him up in the front of the jury for. If he's on jury because he got a parking ticket, the judge is going to find a way to hold him in contempt and put the guy in prison. That is how toxic and how much he's hated in a place like New York City, which, is a very, very bad thing when it's the same place you technically live. I mean, and even if he lived in, say, someplace more conservative, like Arizona, New York could still have him extradited, which is nuts. I mean, so he has serious things to worry about, and as somebody who generally supports him, not all the time, but generally I support his decisions, he's going to have to face this reality, and I don't know what he's going to do about it once the time comes that he's leaving the presidency. I mean, I hate to say it, but his best bet would be to win re-election and then die in office on the last day of his presidency. Because, man, no matter what happens, if he leaves the White House, unless things in this country completely change in the next 1 to 6 years, somehow, some event would have to be probably a catastrophic event, because I can't see anything not catastrophic having such a wide and forever changing opinions on things, and it would have to be something awful. I mean, that's even more scary. But unless there's a fundamental shift in the philosophy of half of the country, which there isn't going to be, he's going to have people following him for the rest of his life. To this day, there are still people that calling Judge Kavanaugh some type of sexually violent predator, even though it's been proven over and over again everything about Kavanaugh was 100% made up. There wasn't anything legit about it. It was all made up. It was all bullshit. The woman might have believed it, but she was wrong. Okay? There was much more evidence that it was somebody else. Not one person confirmed ever seeing him, or she doesn't know how she got there, how she got home. There wouldn't have been enough evidence even to bring charges against him, let alone convict him in any court in this country. And half the country thinks the guy got away with rape, and it's absurd. And that's just Kavanaugh. I mean, half the country thinks Trump is literally a Russian spy, and there's no evidence for it. But you can't reason with these people, because no matter who you talk to, whether it's a conservative YouTube channel or a liberal channel or news or the Washington Post or the New York Times or a governor of a state or a senator, Schumer, whoever, everybody's talking about Russians, connections, Russian bots, Trump and the Russians, and the Trump, who was it? Was it his own guy? Was it Michael Cohen? Somebody on the Trump team who's since had to flee because now they've got their own legal troubles, and their life is going to be ruined if they don't play ball with the Democrats. They had the gall to get up and make the statement that, in 100% honesty, there has never been another another president before this, or presidential candidate perhaps. I think he said another president in U.S. history who has had as many ties to Russia as Donald Trump. And he delivered the line perfectly and flawlessly and believably. And because you know what? It is absolutely true. I 100% believe that to be a true factual statement. But there has never been a presidential candidate in memorable U.S. history, not in any of our lives, who was an international businessman before. They were all politicians, right? John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan was an actor who turned politician. Kennedy was a career politician. The Bushes were career politicians and oil men for some point, but mostly career politicians and military to politicians with oil on the side. Bill Clinton, career politician. As far back as you can remember, they're either politicians, military and politicians. When was the last businessman a president? Way back in the day when business was only between the states, or maybe you had a company that traded with the UK, with Great Britain, or France or something. Nobody had ties with Russia until, the fall of the Soviet Union. Until the late 80s, the early 90s, you couldn't even do business with Russia. So it's only in the last 30 years that anybody's even been allowed to do business with Russia. And no president in the last 30 years has had any businesses that would have anything to do with Russia. So of course Trump is going to be the president with the most connections to Russia, because he's got the most connections, I'm sure, to almost every other country. He's probably got the most connections to Japan and to China and to France and to England and to Portugal and to Brazil and Argentina and Barbados. I don't know any other country. He's probably got some type of business going on there. So of course he's going to have the most. That was the stupidest thing. If the media was at all honest, they would have said that. They would have said, well, of course, wouldn't you expect him to have the most connections to Russia? Since he's a businessman, he wasn't a politician for the first 70 years of his life. And we know he's had projects either planned, I don't know how far they got along, but they've planned projects in Russia before, so he's had to have connections to Russia. It doesn't mean he has had connections to the Russian government. It doesn't mean he's a spy for the Russians. Anybody who's doing business in another country has connections to that country. My old boss, he was buying land in Turks and Caicos to create his own golf resort. He died, unfortunately, before he could finish it, but he had ties to multiple people in Turks and Caicos. Does that mean he was spying for Turks and Caicos? No. You people, I can see the comments building. I can see the comments. DJ Odyssey says, meh, once he isn't president anymore, they won't bother. They loved him before he became president. They only don't like him because he has an R next to his name and not a D. I hope you are right, DJ Odyssey, but you see what I see. You see the derangement syndrome. You see school aides pulling MAGA hats off of school children who are on hat day. They're specifically allowed to wear hats, but school aides are pulling hats off of children and screaming at them like they were, you know, I don't know, doing something far more horrible than wearing a hat that says "Make America Great Again." And you know, maybe the Pelosi's and the Schumers and the career politicians in Washington will drop it once he leaves office. I could possibly believe that. But the up-and-comers on the local level, the people who still need to make names for themselves, how the hell are they going to get publicity? Okay? Like, if you have just some idiot who's the Attorney General of New York that no one has ever heard of, how is he going to make national headlines? He's going to make national headlines by bringing a lawsuit or bringing criminal charges against Trump, because it's going to get him in the news. It's going to make him famous. It's going to make him, if he could be the guy who puts Donald Trump in jail, he's going to be at the top of the ticket for the next Democrat, the next presidential election. So, yeah, I mean, I will agree that the career politicians know the game. And they might give up the fight. But the up-and-comers, the people who don't realize how the game is even played, or worse, they know it's just a game, but they still just need to get headlines for themselves, they're still going to go after him. And to be honest, the news has gotten so used to filling up 45-50% of their airtime with Donald Trump stories. They're not going to be able to just adjust back out and, you know, we get a boring president in 4 or 6 years or whatever it is. They're not going to know what to do with themselves, right? They're not going to be able to report on, you know, a Joe Biden presidency like they're reporting on Donald Trump. Not that Joe Biden would ever win the presidency, so don't. But I'm just saying, if a boring person won the presidency, they're not going to be able to fill their time, and they're going to keep going after Trump until he's dead, And then when he's dead, they're going to go after his kids. Okay? Because that's what they're going to do. Because the Trump name, it brings views. It's gold. It is gold. He turned it from just the last name into freaking gold for publicity, and it was a double-edged sword. I'm glad he ran for president, but holy shit, if he knew what he knew now, or I knew what I knew now about what was going to happen to him and his his reputation, I would have told him, hey, don't even bother. No, yeah, I know it would be great for you to win, and you will win, but it will not be worth it for you. Because this is gonna, I mean, as stupid as it is, even though it is completely asinine, this is gonna tarnish not only him forever, but the sons, Ivanka, her family, little Baron. I mean, they're never going to be the same. They're always going to be targets from here on out. Yeah. Very, very sad. Resolute Germ says, no, Trump will crush them once he gets back to New York. I hope so, but politics work differently in New York City. Trump can't just make things happen. I mean, DJ Odyssey says he has a home in Florida. He has money to move elsewhere. He can go to Texas or anywhere else. Yeah, but all those places do have extradition treaties, and New York could easily get him extradited regardless of where he moved in the United States. Where the only place he could safely move, we'd literally have to go somewhere without an extradition treaty. And even half the world thinks he's crazy because of all the media. So I don't even know where he could go. Buy an island somewhere? I don't know that he has the money to buy an island. I mean, he's a billionaire, but he's not the Bloomberg billionaire. He's not a Warren Buffett billionaire. He's not a Jeff Bezos billionaire. He's a billionaire, which it's nice. It's nice. Don't get me wrong. That type of money you can buy and do a hell of a lot, but you're kind of not at the place where you can buy your own country yet. DJ Odyssey says, no bird, I'm quoting hate beer helicopter with the helicopter remark. Hate bear. Irate bear with the helicopter mark. Darren Darren. How are you feeling today, Bird of Prey? Darren, if you've been watching me, I'm obviously feeling better than I've been in a few days. And DJ Odyssey says Joe is sleep talking again. No, DJ. Do you really think I'm not making any sense? Have I not been making any sense? If I've not been making any sense, then I don't know what it is, but it's not sleep talking. I guess I've been ranting. This is a full-on rant day. This is ranting. I don't know what is coming out of my mouth like it. Bird of Prey. Yeah, okay, that's a good quote. Thomas, take it down. Thomas says sleep drunk talking. I'm not drunk and I'm not sleep talking. Hector says, heck of a quote. So applicable to so many occasions. DJ Odyssey says, Anti-Tracker has a pretty mouth. Now, DJ, I did say that, but I said it as a joke. So, yeah, it's a quote, but that's a low blow quote to bring up. And DJ says, "Oh, the humanity." Les Nessman. Thomas says, "Anti-tracker isn't here." Well, I just meant if he shows up. DJ Odyssey says, "Bird, if you see your numbers go poof, you know anti-tracker went on." Lol. Honestly, DJ, I don't even look at my numbers. They're not on my screen. They don't fit. Oh, well, we're up to 12. We're up to 12 people. I don't know if that's up or down. But thank you for the 12 people who are here. DJ Odyssey says, "Smurfs make good pie." Hector says, "Smurf lives matter." Hashtag Smurf lives matter. Darth Calhoun says, Smurfberry pie. Marlena Monroe says the same shenanigans they did after they left Kaminar. They just left the planet to be engulfed by the time explosion. That's right. That's right. That they didn't even check up on the planet. They weren't even asked. And why did they have to be asked? Why did they have to be ordered to check for debris, to bring in debris from the probe? This is a probe from 500 years in the future that just went crazy, started reading your computer system, and destroyed your shuttle. Or you destroyed your shuttle to get away from it. The first thing Captain Pike should have done when he got on Discovery was order them to tractor into the cargo bay all the debris and start sorting out what was probe and what wasn't, because God knows what they could learn from this 500 year in the future probe. It was their biggest, best piece of evidence for this whole thing, and they were just going to what? Ignore it until Section 31 made them stay behind and look for pieces? That makes no sense. DJ Odyssey says, "I ate the Smurf cereal as a kid. It wasn't that bad." I didn't eat Smurf cereal. Cereals I ate tend to be the same cereals I would eat now. Fruit Loops. Special K. Maybe I ate more Frosted Flakes as a kid. Frosted Mini Wheats. I liked Alpha Bits as a kid. Honey Smacks. Okay, I don't really eat that now. I loved Cocoa Krispies. Love Cocoa Krispies. But I had to stop eating them. I was getting a kind of allergic reaction from them. But man, a bowl of Cocoa Krispies still makes me sound good. So sometimes I'll eat regular Rice Krispies, and if I'm really feeling the need to feel like a kid again, I'll put a little Hershey's chocolate syrup in the milk first and mix it around. So I'm having Rice Krispies with chocolate milk, and it tastes a lot like Cocoa Krispies taste, but for whatever reason, I don't get that same reaction I used to get when I ate Cocoa Krispies. And let me tell you, if somebody tries to give you Fruity Pebbles instead of Fruit Loops, and they tell you it's the same thing, it is not. Fruity Pebbles are disgusting compared to Fruit Loops. The only fruity cereal similar to Fruit Loops is the relatively new Fruity Cheerios. They're good. I'd go with Fruity Cheerios. They're fine. But Fruity Pebbles, one time I was young and we were up at the Adirondacks house, so we had to buy all our food on our way up. It was our ritual. We'd stop at the supermarket that was like 30 minutes away from the house, because we wouldn't get back there for, perhaps days, depending on, what was going on with the house. So we'd fill up the cart full of stuff We'd buy food for days, and we'd buy cereal. And I don't know, one day they were out of Fruit Loops or something, and we ended up with Fruity Pebbles, and I like spit it out. It was terrible. No, Thomas, I didn't see your message on Discord. But thank you, Thomas. I will go check. For those who don't know, more often than not, I do keep Discord closed, especially when I'm streaming. So I usually do not see comments on Discord. Okay, Thomas. Thomas, fine. You know what? Let's bring that subject up. I saw Anti-Tracker's video from last night. I watched it this morning, like I usually do. And in that video, someone told him that Waspinator made him an apology video, kind of, and that it had ended badly. I, in fact, do subscribe to Waspinator just in case that he ever did do some type of apology video or something. Somebody needs to know about it, or or even if he says something worse, God forbid. I don't know. I don't know what he's capable of, to be honest, but I am subbed. I'm not going to pretend I don't subscribe to Waspinator. When he used to do interesting videos, I would even like his videos. I haven't liked his videos in a long time because, frankly, he hasn't done an interesting video in a long, long time. But I'm not going to unsubscribe from him because somebody needs to, frankly, keep an eye on him. Now, I watched that video within minutes of him uploading it. In fact, I was, believe it, the first view he had, because when I clicked on it, it had been up for 7 minutes and it showed no views. And it was a short video. For those who haven't seen it, it's like less than a minute long. And I was a little impressed. I was like, okay, what's he going to do? I was like, well, and I know I shouldn't prejudge somebody, but we all do it. So I'm like, I know his channel hasn't been growing like he wanted it to. So I'm thinking, is this going to be a real apology, or is this just going to be like, I realized the error of my ways, and I really could use Anti-Tracker's help in getting more subscribers, and he's just going to apologize just for the sake of apologizing. So that was the mode I was in when I was watching it, trying to determine how sincere he was. Well, he made it very easy, because like 30 seconds into like a 47-second video, it turns out he wasn't sincere at all. It wasn't an apology. It was a double down FU to Anti-Tracker. And of course, I closed it, and I tried to tell Anti-Tracker about it. I messaged Anti-Tracker, but unfortunately, I guess he did not get to see it. He didn't respond to it, so I assume he didn't see it. And I kind of just gave him a heads up. I said, Anti-Tracker, heads up, Waspinator, I know you don't follow him, I know you don't, but you should know this, because you should know before you find out some other way, that Waspinator did in a video titled Apologies to Anti-Tracker. I said, but it's not an apology. And that's, I know you don't want to. I said, and that's all I'll say about it, because I know he doesn't want to waste his time with Waspinator, which obviously he has good reason to, and I totally understand, and I respect his decision for doing that. So all I just wanted to let him know is that don't be fooled. It says an apology, but it's not. And if he wanted to track it down and watch the video, I wasn't sure if he would or not. He did end up doing that last night, but that was totally his call. I wasn't going to paste the link in and shove it in his face in case he didn't want to be bothered. So, yeah. That said, I'm still subscribed to Waspinator, and if he wants to block me, Waspinator, he's welcome to it. But if he doesn't block me, I'm going to remain subscribed. I don't see myself ever liking a video again of his, or even commenting on a video, because I knew right away not to comment on it, because trolling lately, and this is going to get me down another tangent, but there's a difference between a troll and an asshole. Okay? There's a difference between a troll and an idiot. And there's a difference between a troll and a racist, and a troll and a misogynist, and a troll and generally just an a-hole. Okay? That's probably the best all-encompassing description. Okay, trolls are not necessarily assholes. They're not necessarily racist. They're not necessarily misogynist. Trolling is more of an art form. And like many things in the last 5 years plus now, the media and websites where people have no idea what the hell they're talking about, but make articles and make videos using jargon, using terms that they don't really understand, but they pretend that they do. And then people who understand even less read it and believe it, and then they start misusing the same terms. Yeah, so that's trolling. Trust me, trolling is one of those things. And back in the day, back in the 2000 to 2005, I'll call the golden age of trolling. Yes, you would not have found a bigger troll than me, okay? Now, granted, it wasn't on YouTube. These were on web forums. But it was an art form. And you weren't doing it to drive somebody to kill themselves. You weren't doing it to make somebody feel bad about themselves. And you wouldn't troll somebody by saying they should have aborted their kid. I mean, that's like, there's no, I don't know. There's no art form to that. There's no finesse about that. The thing about if you were a good troll, the person you were trolling didn't know they were being trolled. And if they did know, it wasn't until it was too late. And like your plan for whatever had already come to be. And I mean, a mark of a great troll is maximum, I don't want to say anger, because you don't want anger, but like maximum annoyance with minimum effort, okay? And for those who have seen the Simpsons Family Guy crossover episode, I'm going to just use it like this. When Bart Simpson calls Moe's, he's a troll. Because there's humor. There's a reason for doing it, right? There's something funny. Bart and Lisa end up hysterically laughing at Moe's overreaction, right? But he starts off completely serious. He's like, "Hello, is Ahmed there?" And or is Mr. Whatever. last name Duty, and Mo's like, "Hello, everybody. Is I made a duty here. I made a duty. I made a duty," and everybody at the bar starts laughing, and Mo finally gets it that he's been trolled, and that is the definition. That is a classic troll. Okay, you could say it's a classic prank call, but we're gonna call it a troll. And Bart and Lisa are hysterical laughing, so everybody's laughing on both sides of the phone except Mo, who's enraged and is like, "I'm gonna come and I'm gonna cut your tongue out and I'm gonna staple your eyes closed and I'm gonna rip your heart out," and ridiculous stuff. Okay, Bart is a troll. So when Bart then has Stewie, he tells Stewie, "You try it." Stewie is an asshole, okay? Stewie is what the media has been calling trolls, okay? Because these are people that the media is confusing with actual trolls. And what does Stewie say? Does Stewie make a prank call? No, Stewie gets on the phone, and instead of doing something funny like Bart, Mo answers, and he's like, Stewie's like, "Mo, your sister's being raped," and hangs up the phone. And Bart's like, "What the fuck?" And Stewie's like, "Oh, this is fun." And no, that's not fun. That's not a troll. That's just being an asshole or being a jerk or whatever, okay? It might be hard to see, but yeah, one makes everybody laugh, perhaps, except the person being trolled, although eventually they should still laugh when they realize what's happening. And the other just makes them, and it gives them legit reason to be angry, okay? When you're being trolled correctly, you should not have a legitimate reason to be angry. Somebody should come to you and say, "Why are you so upset?" And you're going to be like, "Because you don't understand, the guy on the internet said that clouds are white," and your friend will be like, "But clouds are white." And he's like, "No, but I mean like at night." And your friend's like, "I don't understand. So clouds are dark white?" And he's like, no. And that's somebody who's trolled. They can't even explain why they're upset. Okay? But, if your friend says, "Why are you upset?" And you said, "Because I just got a phone call saying my family's dead," that's not trolling. Okay? That's not you being trolled. So, what were we talking about? Did you read a message on Discord? Yes. Yes, so Waspinator is not a troll. Waspinator is a dick or an asshole or something worse, whatever you want to say. But, you know what? Anti-Tracker himself said recently, no man is beyond redemption. And if nobody subscribes to Waspinator, and he's banned, he's blocked by Anti-Tracker, and he is blocked from the Discord. I mean, he's not blocked from the website because I don't know how to block him, since I don't know his email address or anything. And I don't even know if Anti-Tracker would want me to block him, but he's not blocked from the website, technically. But, I mean, if nobody knew how to contact, was watching him, and he couldn't contact Anti-Tracker or anybody, then how could he ever redeem himself if one day, he sees the light? And so yes, for that reason, I am Subscribe to Waspinator, not because I enjoy his content, but because someone should be. And DJ Odyssey says, Thomas, you know you're supposed to message a streamer on Discord. You know you ain't supposed to message a streamer on Discord. That is bad, lol. Darth Calhoun says, I never had enough cereal growing up. Hector says, one environment, planets are stupid, Thomas, but in Star Trek they never show more than one planet anyways. Yeah. Thomas says, lol. Darth Calhoun says, I miss Kevin Spacey as an actor. You know what, Darth? I damn well, I do too. I can understand why they refuse to bring him back to that Netflix show. House of Cards. I mean, he was House of Cards. So don't get me wrong. The show is shit without him. But I could understand them not bringing him back. Fine. Although I disagree with it, granted. If I ran Netflix, I think we'd still have been able to make more money with him on. And until he gets arrested for an actual crime, I wouldn't be kicking him away. But, so not bringing him to the last season of House of Cards, okay. What I cannot accept is the fact that they start removing TV shows and movies that he's already been in. Okay? He's already been in, and then you're going to take them down, or you're going to stop showing them because one actor in there happened to be possibly accused. Well, he's accused, but that he possibly, was a rapist, or I guess rape is the term, even though it's not Central Park jogger rape. It's more like date rape, but it's still rape. So, I mean, if we were to look back at all the people who've ever gone to jail for violent crimes, who've been in movies before, there wouldn't be any movies left for us to watch. Because everybody, movies take hundreds of people, if not thousands. Everybody, every movie, every name at the end of those credits in a movie did something for that movie. And let me tell you, a lot of them are not nice people. A lot are, I'm sure. But I can grant you, in any movie, there's someone on that list that's got a skeleton in their closet at least as big as Kevin Spacey's. So how do you decide to start taking movies down? And my God, what they did to the comedian. The comedian. He has his own website. He was doing his own show. Let me bring it up. I've got it. See, I haven't seen him in so long. I'm forgetting what he was in. Louis C.K. What they did to Louis C.K. Was basically almost criminally stupid. HBO, who, by the way, kept their Kevin Spacey movies on HBO now, so you could still watch movies with Kevin Spacey, erased completely from their library everything Louis C.K. was in. And he had a number of specials and shows on HBO. And overnight, they were gone. Like he never existed. They erased the man because two women went to his room at their own choice after a party or something at a film show in Utah or somewhere, Colorado, some state. They went to his hotel room. They weren't forced there. They weren't held down. They weren't drugged. And the guy, got naked. He didn't force them. He didn't come over to them. He didn't say, and he did things to himself, and they chose to stay there and watch. Nobody was blocking the door. Nobody was threatening them that if they left they were going to, be killed or even that their career was going to suffer. Okay? They were adults, okay? If you're an adult and you go to another adult's hotel room after hours, okay? Maybe nothing will happen. But you've already got to be thinking, this is how lots and lots of movies start, where things start getting sexual, okay? You have to at least know that possibility is there, okay? You're not idiots. You're not 12-year-olds. You're not even 16-year-olds. You are adult women and adult men going back to hotel rooms after hours, after drinking, after a big party. And what happens? These things happen. This is when that type of stuff happens. And you know what? If you don't want to be there, leave. The door is there. You're afraid you're going to leave what? Your phone behind? Your shoes behind? Well, I guess you want your shoes, but your shoes weren't even off. It was her jacket she was afraid of leaving behind. So you pick up the jacket the next day, or you say, F it, forget the jacket. You send him a bill, or you ask him to please mail me my jacket back. You can make it to your hotel room without your jacket. You're not going to die. It's not the Antarctic, okay? So, no, you chose to be there. You chose to watch, and it didn't disgust you enough to leave. But, when everybody's getting famous for yelling "Me Too," you've got to come out with your story that you didn't see any reason to tell before. Get your 15 minutes of fame, and now Louis C.K., one of the funniest comedians in half a decade at least, probably a decade, all of his stuff is gone. And I blame HBO more than the women. Because the women want to tell their story, fine. You know what? Nobody should be stopping them from telling their story. Because if it happened to them, as long as they're being honest, yeah, tell your story. I don't care. Again, we're adults. I don't care. You can tell your story. I blame HBO for acting like, oh my God, if we don't erase all of his content, what, people are going to stop watching Game of Thrones because Louis C.K. jerked it in front of a couple of adult women who didn't run out of his hotel room? No, nobody's going to stop watching Game of Thrones because of that. They'd watch Game of Thrones even if Kevin Spacey was on Game of Thrones because it's that big. DJ Odyssey says he misses Kevin Spacey as a singer, and I've been on for a lot longer than I expected. I gotta take my pill now because I've got this. Hector says, DJ Odyssey says, I miss Kevin Spacey as a singer. Darth Calhoun says, I loved Kevin Spacey on House of Cards. I did too. You know the only scenes I didn't like on House of Cards? The gay scenes. But you know what? Now I know why they did them. I guess he wanted to do them. Makes a hell of a lot more sense now. The first season of House of Cards, that first time they go gay, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Why is this happening? Why is this on screen? And then they do it again the second season, and again the third season. And you're like, why is there a gay episode every freaking season? Well, obviously, because Kevin Spacey wanted there to be. So, okay. Makes a hell of a lot more sense now. Hector says, loving Kevin Spacey has implications now. And DJ Odyssey says, not that loving. Yeah, but any type of loving has implications now. I've probably lost 40 of my newest subscribers. Hector says, yeah, I know. He's still an amazing actor. He really is. I mean, do you think people are going to stop watching The Usual Suspects because of what Kevin Spacey may or may not have done? No. I mean, I will always watch that movie. I don't care. Honestly, I hate to say it like that. But what he did as a person and what he does as an actor are completely different, okay? Yeah, if he's convicted, I hope he goes to... If he's guilty and he's convicted, and... let me say, if he's guilty of an actual unconsented sexual act, and unconsented meaning the person was completely unwilling, act, like they were forced to do something they did not want to do, yes, he should go to prison for a long time, and then we don't ever have to worry about him making another movie again. But I'm still going to watch the movies he's already made because they were good movies. Okay? And maybe he hadn't committed the crime yet. Even if he did, he wasn't arrested yet. Why cut off our noses to spite our faces? And if he's still making money from that movie, then if he did commit such a horrible crime, more than likely that money is going to be going to his victim now anyway. So, you know, every time you watch, even though OJ was innocent, every time you watch The Naked Gun and OJ gets a check for $10 or whatever he gets for the fact that he was in that movie, that money's not going to OJ. That money's going to the Goldmans. So, you know, you're not hurting anybody. You're not helping anybody by stopping watching a movie that bad people were in. You're only hurting yourself. Marlena says Spacey's gay now, guys. So it's okay? Question mark. No, it's not okay. And that was the stupidest thing. I mean, I understand why he tried it, but that was a Hail Mary that just wasn't gonna complete. He was holding back the gay card. You knew he was holding the gay card. If something bad was to happen, he was just gonna play the gay card and hope that it was gonna be a get out of jail free card. And it didn't work that way. You know, any year probably before this, it probably would have worked, but he waited too long. DJ Odyssey says Pee Wee Herman, the perfect Hollywood type. He only got caught touching himself. Yeah. Pee Wee Herman now, far. If you had to leave your kid with Kevin Spacey, Michael Jackson back from the dead, Louis C.K., or Pee Wee Herman, you would be an idiot not to pick Pee Wee Herman. That's the world we live in. And you know what? If I was a parent and I was forced at gunpoint to pick between leaving my kid with one of those 4 people, I would totally pick Pee Wee Herman every single time. Darth Kilhoun said, my lucid dreams always seem to be more on a battlefield. I control myself, but not the environment. It's like real life. Very interesting, Darth, because when I first learned to lucid dream, Sassy's angry. When I first learned to lucid dream, I was like Q. I could just snap my fingers and make anything happen. Cars appear, change the environment, bring an attractive woman in front of me. I could do whatever the hell I want. I was like Q. Now, in my lucid dreams, I'm more like you. I know I'm dreaming, but I'm stuck at the mercy of the environment. Like, if I want to drive a Jeep, I can't snap my fingers and get a Jeep. I have to walk down a busy street and just look for, because somewhere in the random amount of cars will be a Jeep. And then I can get a Jeep. Hector says, the last time I dreamed about someone shooting me, I dived into a trench and fell from bed. That was painful. Is that serious, Hector? Because I've never, thank God, and knocking wood, has never really been an issue for me, even when I could walk and move. Darth Kilhoun says, PewDiePie versus T-Series is only 20,000 difference. Go sub to PewDiePie. I don't understand the reference. Who or what is T-Series? DJ Odyssey says, my point, Joe, is Tim Pool being a left-to-center person, even he admits that Captain Marvel has a leftist bias and messages in it, and he could only rate the movie a 6 at best. Well, and you know what? That's what I like about Tim Pool, is that he's left of center, but he admits it. And that's good to admit, the guy still has interesting stuff to say. I don't hate people on the left. I just want them to be honest. So many people who claim to be on the left start out by saying, "Oh, I'm moderate," or I'm not on the left. I'm not liberal. I voted for Bush once, whatever. And but no, you're whatever. I don't care who you voted for 14 years ago. You're whatever you're talking about now, you're on the left, guy. I don't know. Thomas Potts says the shuttle was the Krill ship. That was this episode of the Orville. I was talking about Identity Part 2. Joseph says, Bird of Prey, I am biased towards Discovery. I like it more than the common YouTuber. The Orville is IMO a bit overrated. Despite it, I like it and I watch it. That's cool, Joseph. I mean, I tend to disagree, but oh my God, I can't be that far back in comments. I am that far back in comments, and okay, I'm seriously gonna make an effort to get through these comments. We're gonna try to stop going off on tangents. DJ Odyssey says, I am Groot. And yeah, I know. Anti-Tracker, if you are ready to go on, because I see you are in the chat now, and I don't know if anybody told you this, even though I asked them to tell you. If you're ready to go on stream, hit me up on Skype, and I'll know to end the stream, and then I will follow up on the rest of these comments in another video, Doomcock style, because I won't let the comments be behind, but I don't have to finish them now. Otherwise, if you've got time, enjoy it, and I will get through these comments as quickly as possible. DJ, anyway, Joseph, yes, that's great. You know, like I said, I disagree, but we don't have to agree on everything. The world would be a really boring place if we all agreed on everything. DJ Odyssey says, I am Groot. Thomas Potts says, Bird of Prey is racist to Groot. I am. I hate tree people. I'm better than tree people. Thomas Potts says, Bird of Prey Marvel movies are on Netflix. For now. I've seen a lot of the Marvel movies. Well, the ones I said I've seen. But I have no interest in seeing the other ones. Oh, I also saw Captain America. And then Captain America Civil War, I fell asleep watching. And Ryan Johnson says the test will be how much of a drop Captain Marvel has next weekend. It's just being pushed hard this weekend. DJ Odyssey says unsubbing for Treesis to Groot. DJ Odyssey says that's okay, Joe. I got 5 subs in the last week, so you are still rocking it. DJ Odyssey says also Anti tells people to sub to Bird and says they should avoid me. And he says they should avoid me. Thomas says Doomcock missed one of my super chats. Thomas, I gotta ask, did you watch the entire stream? I once did a super chat to Doomcock 45 minutes into his stream. He did not get to it until the 4th hour of the stream. I thought for sure he missed it. I listened to the stream over 3 days, like an hour a day after that point. And then amazingly, he brought up my super chat that I made like 45 minutes in. I have no idea on how he chooses in what order to read them, but he has not yet missed a super chat of mine. And more than once, it's been many hours between the time I make the super chat and the time he actually brings it up. Thomas says, DJ, you need to tell him 20 lines before he can see it. DJ Odyssey says, I gave up after 7. And then again, it wasn't mine. I was just trying to point it out, lol. I don't know if we're talking about me or Doomcock. DJ Odyssey says, it's been a long time getting from there to here. DJ Odyssey says, I wasted 7 years on World of Warcraft. Josh Street says, DJ is a city skyline junkie. DJ says, I called it that you would marry Kathleen Kennedy if she had a Jeep. Yes, then, you did correctly call it. Let's see, is this gonna work? Okay. DJ says, I just like to blow up the cities, Josh. Well, that's fine. Josh says, DJ, do you know Bird will marry anyone if they had a Jeep? Well, a woman. DJ Odyssey. And a woman who has a lot of money, mind you. DJ says, you haven't seen it? Margaret Robbie is the only reason to watch it anyway. No, I haven't seen Suicide Squad, if that's what we're talking about. DJ says, though it does have some brief part in the beginning with Batman. DJ Odyssey says, Jaloja. Joseph says, Bird of Prey, I live in Slovakia. Small country with 5.5 million people in Central Europe, and I work for a US-based 4-letter PC maker from Texas. Very cool, Joseph. Very cool. So Slovakia used to be part of Czechoslovakia, if I'm not mistaken, and then the country broke up. With the Slavics and the Czechs, I believe. And I hope, I mean, I'm just saying this from my own head to get an idea of where you are. Very cool. A 4-letter PC maker from Texas. I think I know who you're talking about, and I believe I have a friend who also works for that same 4-letter PC maker from Texas, but he would work out of Virginia, not Slovakia. Darth Calhoun says to Joseph, I feel sorry for your commie occupation for decades. I'm glad your country is fighting the EU against new immigration policies. And DJ says, couldn't kill you, bird. Thank you, DJ. And Anti-Tracker, welcome, Anti-Tracker at 5:07. Oh my God, it's now 6:11. I got further behind in the comments than I've been today. An hour and 3 minutes. Anti-Tracker, who is bird killing today? Anti-Tracker, this has been a rant video of unusual proportions. I don't know how or why, but I just won't shut up today. I don't know. What if it's a hung jury? Asked Darth. A hung jury? What, against Trump? That's not going to happen. Not in New York City. Anti-Tracker says, what if it's a well-hung jury? Damn it, Anti-Tracker. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anti-Tracker says, who is he talking about? Oh, Trump. Yes, Trump. Hi, Anti-Tracker. Civil war after Trump presidency, says Darth Calhoun. No, I wasn't talking about civil war. I was just saying that he's gonna... They could never find a fair jury. Absolutely, Thomas. Absolutely. In fact, no, I can't go on because okay, last detour. When they tried to pass that law that they were going to use El Chapo's seized money to build the wall with, so that Trump could say that he used Mexico's money to build the wall, I was totally against that because El Chapo was being tried in New York City. And had that passed, I am 100% certain that they would have found El Chapo not guilty before they would have convicted him, knowing that would give Trump $15 billion for the wall. That is how strong the hatred is for Donald Trump in New York City. And I don't have to go far out of my sphere, my small sphere of influence, to know just how much people hate Donald Trump. There are family members that, in no uncertain terms, believe everything that's ever been said about him. And the worst part is they will not even engage in debate. They are so certain of it that they will not engage you in debate. Darth Calhoun says, Thomas, you know there can always be a hung jury if the person votes against arrest they can't convict anyone. No, but then they could retry him. Right? A hung jury doesn't mean you get out. It just means that you got to start over again. And if you're already in prison, if you're already in jail, jail is technically where you are until you've been convicted. After conviction, it becomes prison, even if it's the same building. But if you're already in jail, there's not a hell of a lot of difference between being convicted and having a hung jury, except, of course, that you have a higher degree of getting out at some point if you have a hung jury. But for the time being, you're still in a very shitty situation. When's the Orville stream? That's a good question. DJ Odyssey says, hello, John. DJ says, it's okay, about an hour behind in comments. Hector says, damn, the American elections are next year and I'm already sick of political talk. John says, hey, DJ. Okay, I'm going to stop reading the highs to everybody. We'll speed through a little quicker. Darth Calhoun says to Hector, Trump wins 4 more years of peace. Anyone else on the left, civil war. Robert Knowles is sorry he got here late. Don't mind it, Robert. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome. John Pertrick says to Darth, the communism was not... Oh, John. Excuse me. Joseph. I don't know how my eyes slipped off that one. Joseph says the communism was not fun. Indeed, the migration policies coming from the EU changed because many countries, not only us, fought against the German way. Keep that good fight up, Joseph. We support you best we can, morally, I guess. You have our moral support. Thomas Potts says, Anti-Tracker comes to Bird of Prey, goes into rant mode. Well, I didn't know he was here. Anti-Tracker says that Thomas says, yeah, I have that effect. Joseph says, and currently there is no crisis, only too much empty talks, but generally the topic died off. John DeMarco says, Anti-Tracker is a rant-enhancing substance. Yeah, that's a good one. Darth says to Joseph, that's why Viktor Orban of Hungary and President Dude of Poland and Nicole Frange are my favorite European politicians. Hector says, when is the live stream, Anti-Tracker? Why? Do you want to leave so quickly, Hector? Thomas says, Anti-Tracker, are you still streaming today? DJ Odyssey says, AT, are you supposed to Skype or something, Bird, when you're ready to go on, so he will end and do a doomcock and finish the comments in another video? Thank you, DJ, for passing that along to Anti-Tracker. Hector says, Thomas is tired of pressing the refresh button. Hector says, at Thomas Potts, yes. Anti-Tracker says, DJ Lowell. And that wasn't a joke, Anti-Tracker. I honestly told them to say that. Thomas says, what, Hector? DJ says, that's what he said about an hour ago, lol. Hector says, sorry, I mean leading in the small door. DJ Odyssey says he said it in case you were tuned in, but he knew he was far behind in the comments. He wouldn't see it. That's called thinking ahead, DJ. Joseph says, it's against the EU. Neither Hungary nor Poland are. There is the difference. The EU was very good, especially for the post-communist countries. It needs different leaders. Anti-Tracker says, I need more nerdy icons for my map. Darth says to Joseph, if it remained in an economic union only, I would support it. Now they are trying to form a United States of Europe, and I hate that. Thomas says, Anti-Tracker, maybe the One Ring. wondering to rule them all. Hector says Babylon 5 icon, anti-tracker. John DeMarco says anti-tracker. Do you think you could live on an island that looks like? Do you think you could do an island that looks like DS9? Joseph says Darth Calhoun. This year, the EU Parliament elections, lots of changes will happen, especially because of the policies they're trying to push into countries. So I agree with you. Hector says a galactic island. A Galactica island. DJ says, anti-tracker, check Discord. Sent you the V-Series flag. Anti-tracker says, Hector already did Galactica. And DJ, it's nice. I forgot about that one. Darth Gilhoun says to Joseph, the Swedish Democrats, AFD, and other right-wing parties gain huge swaths of seats in your elections there. Anti-tracker says there will be one that not many will get. DJ Odyssey says, yeah, the greatest American hero one, lol. Darth says Trump could North Dakota, where the state would probably deny him being extradited to New York. Thomas Potts says he could go to Tennessee. He could live in Murfreesboro. He could move in with Lore Reloaded. Anytime they come to extradite him, Lore would just start singing. And Punchy the Wonder Cat would stand guard. But would you rather go to prison in that case? Of course I'm kidding. Because Lore probably sings better than I do when not edited. Darth Calhoun says, do you know that Russian monarchies are buying African islands to reform the Russian Empire there if Russia doesn't bring back the monarchy? That's interesting. Robert Knowles says, anti-tracker, how about a D&D island? Anti-tracker says D&D does not have a specific logo that people would recognize. Anti-tracker, FYI, Thomas Potts says, FYI, anti-tracker showed up. Thank you, Thomas. DJ Odyssey says, that's true too. Joseph says, we need more balance against the socialists. AFD is a bit overdrive. IMO, but more of the right spectrum is more than needed in the parliament. Anti-Trigger says, oh look, we're up to 12 people. I don't know if that's up or down, Bird of Prey. Now we're up to 13. Robert Knowles says anti-tracker Skyrim symbol. Lol. John says anti-tracker digging deep. How about a Sequest logo? That's not bad. Thomas says lol. Smurfberry pie. Find a Smurf. Cut off his Smurf berries. No. Oh God. Darth Kilhoun says to Joseph, yeah, I hope to buck the tethered Belgian guy gets kicked from the European Parliament. I hope I hope the buck teeth Belgium guy gets kicked from the European Parliament. DJ Odyssey says, well, the Earth flag from Buck Rogers is too hard for anti-tracker to do. Okay, now anti-tracker just went live. So, I'm going to end the stream here. This is at the 8:28 mark. Anti-tracker says, wait, I am lost. Is he saying that Trump eats fruity pebbles? Okay, so that's the last, and Sassy's barking anyway. Thank you guys so much for coming here. I've already lost 2 people to Anti-Tracker stream. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'll see you guys over at Anti-Tracker stream. I will the 8 Alexa. I don't know what you can do. Never mind. I'm gonna just copy and paste this. No, cancel. Cancel. Okay, I'm gonna copy this line, and I'll make another video with a follow-up of all these comments. So, Qapla. Thank you guys. This has been a crazy stream, but thank you. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. And if you're really crazy, you can send me some money on PayPal. Take care.